Hello, everyone. Oh, hopefully, you all are doing well. It's me, Andrew. I'm here at Star Cottage Studio in lovely Ligonier, Pennsylvania. Here, let me get rid of that banner real quick. Yes, hopefully, you all are doing well out there. We've had a busy day today. I'm kind of getting back into the swing of things here in Pennsylvania after being away for a while. I've been working today a lot on trying to organize some future exhibitions that I hope to uh, curate or help curate. So it's been kind of busy here. And I had a meeting just before this, so here I am. If you're watching, please say hello, and maybe just tell us where you're from. If you're doing anything interesting today, I'd love to hear about it. Yeah, so let's see. I see a couple folks watching. Danette is watching. Hi, Danette. Marianne's watching. Hey, Marianne. Susie, our neighbor's watching. Hey, Susie. Marianne said that she's doing good. The weather is good. No smoke or very little anyway. Unfortunately, 30% is destroyed of Jasper town site. So no timelines when the residents might be able to go back either. Sad. Oh no. Our friend JTF and Beyond is watching. Hello. Let's see. Suzanne is watching. Hey, Suzanne. Susan's watching. Hey, Susan. Let's see. Who else is watching? A couple people said that Susie said it's pretty quiet where she is. Susan says it's very hot where she is. 96 degrees with 64% humidity. Oh no. It's warm here. Well, warmish. We had the air off at the cottage, so when I came in, I was a little bit toasty roasty style, y'all. But yeah, so let's see who else is watching. Ann Schroeder's watching. Hey, Ann. And says I took Daniel Tiger to get a couple vaccines, so he's all up to date. Oh, good. That's good that he is healthy. I see a couple people on Instagram are watching. Hey, Ginny Simon. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. We've been busy, and I've been traveling around this summer, and your support has helped make that possible. I've been traveling to go to different workshops at craft schools around the country, and I've been super fortunate to win a lot of scholarships. But your support definitely helps to offset the additional costs like fuel and lodging and all that fun stuff, material fees, and all that good stuff. So it definitely helps. Just know that your support has a direct impact on my life and on William's life. And we're deeply grateful to all of you out there who have helped make this little creative castle keep on floating in the air. So thank you for that. We've been super busy getting things ready for the week. I'm getting ready for an art show that is happening at the Manos Gallery. That's opening in September. So if you're in the area, please join us for that. I don't know if I'm going to be in town for the opening. I know I'm not going to be in town for the drop off. So I'm going to have William drop the artwork off. So I've been busy getting stuff ready for that. It's a really cool show. I think it's a 6x6 show. So 6 inches by 6 inches. And I'm going to do some collages and sculptures and all kinds of cool stuff that mixes everything. So yeah, busy with that. I've also been trying to unpack and unload and do laundry and kind of get situated after being away. So I'm going to be doing more of that tonight when I get back. I also unpacked the van that I had taken to my travels. And so I've gotten some of the tools that I picked up at NC Black. Our friends Andrea and Chuck were very generous, and they helped me get set up with some different things. And I'm super excited about that. I can't wait. I'm so excited to get involved with all the things that I've learned so far this summer, and there's more to come. Next week, I'll be at Touchstone learning with the wonderful Sandra McEwen. If you don't know who that is, she is a very accomplished enamelist. And she does a lot on YouTube and Twitch and all kinds of good stuff like that. So I'm super excited. I'm going to probably fangirl a little bit because I have her videos on in the background sometimes while I'm working. So it kind of feels like I know her already. So we'll see how I'll try to be not as weird and uncomfortable and awkward as I could be. Oh, Teresa's watching. Long time no see, Teresa. I haven't been doing the lives lately, so if you've been watching and I haven't seen you, then yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I've been traveling so much it feels weird to be on here solo. William is at his pottery class tonight, so I'm excited to see what he makes. Last I heard, he was making some pendant blanks for work with the decal printer that we got. We didn't get one of the fancy decal printers. We got a printer that has toner that has iron oxide, and there's some water slide decal paper, and I'm going to show he's going to use some of my drawings maybe, and we're going to use that as the imagery. So that's super cool. I'm excited to see how that turns out. Let's see. Danette says, Daniel Tiger. I love the name. Of course, it reminds me of Daniel Tiger from Mr. Rogers. I'm from the hometown of Mr. Rogers. He was a wonderful man. Oh, good. Yeah, we're super lucky to be in an area where he's from. I actually grew up, Mr. Rogers, he's, and actually Arnold Palmer, they both spent time in the town that I grew up in. It's a little tiny town called Winter Park, which is kind of a suburb of Orlando now. I did not grow up in the rich part. I grew up not in the rich part. And they also lived in this area, Latrobe and Ligonier, this kind of surrounding area. And where William used to live, he lived outside of a tiny town called Clyde. And there's this waterfall called Buttermilk Falls. And that's actually the homestead of where Mr. Rogers' grandparents lived. So him and his brother used to pedal their bikes down to the waterfall and cool off there. It's now much fancier. They have all these trails and stuff. And the first time I went when I moved here is a little bit precarious. Like some of the stuff hadn't been updated for a while, and the wood had gotten that kind of slick, that slick feeling. But now it's all fancy, and there's like skid-proof strips and stuff like that. So, yeah. So his influence is definitely felt around these parts, and I think that's a good influence. I remember watching him when I was growing up, so I feel super fortunate to kind of be in that area that he was from and lived, and I can kind of see some of the influences in the show. Though I haven't had a chance to watch anything recently, but I definitely feel like some of those messages of love and kindness and watching for the helpers and being neighborly and having a good supportive neighborhood are definitely things that I try to carry through in my adulthood. All right, let's see who else. Teresa says, no, I have not been on. Well, hopefully everything has been well and that you're doing all right. All of you out there are more than just customers. We think of y'all as friends, and we want all of our friends to be doing well. So sending lots of positive energy out to all of you. Let's see, who else? Marianne says, also looking forward to William's efforts. Yeah, I'm excited to see what he makes. I do have some molds that, if you watch some of the work with me videos, you can see me using some of the more shallow piece molds with metal clay. But I did design a few for a brief stint. I did ceramic pendants, which some of you may be familiar with. And I did, so hopefully I'll go dig those out, and maybe if he gets interested, he can use those, or I can show him how to make his own. He did make a couple, or he made one while my friend Sonia was visiting. I was showing her how to do some mold making and working with polymer. And I coerced him in a gentle, loving way to do some as well. So, yeah. So maybe he'll use some of the ones that he made. Anne says, Danette, I love it. I did name him after Daniel Tiger on Mr. Rogers. That's super cute. Super cute cat. He kind of looks like our cat Barnaby. Michelle is watching. Hey, Michelle. Let's see. Who else is watching? We have a couple more folks. Lisa Wilson is watching. Hello, Lisa Wilson. Hopefully you're doing well. Are you the Lisa Wilson that I went to high school with? If you are, let me know, because that would be a blast from the past. If so. If not, Teresa said that she's been struggling with a disease. So hopefully you're doing well and you feel better, and you can kind of recover from that, or at least kind of, do what you need to do to get through all that. Sending you lots of positive energy out there. I don't know if mine is going to do it. Is it going to do it? Oh, it did do it. Oh, good. Sending you hearts out there. I feel like I'm like an anime or something going like that. What is it? Thumbs up? Does that do it? Yeah, it does. Yeah, give us a like. Thumbs up. Yeah. So let's see. Instagram, I see the picture is not updated, and I don't want to refresh because then I might lose the feed on Instagram. But I do see a couple people over there, so that's so weird. But anyways, Marianne says, my childhood shows were PJ Patches and the Friendly Giant. Oh, good. Michelle says, hi, Teresa. Sorry you're going through this. I don't know what that is. Lisa says, from Phoenix. So I don't think we went to high school together then. But I did go to high school with Lisa Wilson. And it says, I'm sorry, Teresa. I hope you start to have more better days. Lennis is watching. She says, I'll peek in and out. Hello, AG Bead fam. Howdy. I actually was thinking about dropping in and stopping and seeing you on the way back from North Carolina, but I had been away so long already that I needed to get home because it was getting kind of serious, the laundry situation. I know my friend Andrea, who's my metals mentor, she offered to let me use her washer and wash things. But, I think it's one of those things like I packed enough to go through the trip, but not more than that. So, and also I was driving through maybe Virginia, and the weather was super terrible. So I decided to go a different way to hopefully minimize that. William or Lennis says, I understand. I want you to stay married. Yeah, it's good to see my husband. He's at his pottery class now. It's good that yeah, it's been nice to be back. We catched up on House of the Dragons last night. So that was nice. We had some subs that his mom brought over, and we're super thankful for that. Those were very good, and they hit the spot. I could have probably eaten 10 dozen of them because I feel like that, but I'm trying to be good and not get wild, which we'll see how long that lasts. Michelle says, I finished my bracelet, worked for 3 hours, and my neighbor ended up with it. She's going to show it off at her college, which is nearby. Oh, good. That sounds really exciting and promising. Deborah's watching. She says she's from Seven Springs. Like Seven Springs down the road from Ligonier Seven Springs, or a different Seven Springs, because there's a ski resort nearby that's called that. I think it's called Seven Springs. Yeah, so we've been busy. If you would be so kind to like and share our posts and help boost the signal, that's always much appreciated. Um, it's one of those things where, as we kind of adjust to the new location, it's going to take a minute before we kind of build our business back up. But I mean, it's promising. And we do see, foot traffic on par with, maybe a little less than our old location, but it's going to take us a minute to get settled in. So all of the online support that we have definitely supports that mission and allows us to keep going. So we definitely appreciate all of you out there who help us make this possible. And so thank you so much. Marianne says done. Thank you. I'm going to do that. Thumbs up. Good job. I kind of want to explore. Do you all know what the other ones are? I know there's a heart and there's a thumbs up, but I don't know all of them. There you go. Michelle says share to both. Thank you so much. It doesn't show me who shared while I'm live, but I usually see it after, and that's always nice. It makes me feel happy in my heart. All right, so tonight, let's see, what do we have going on? Well, first things first, we haven't done one of these in a while that I know of, but I'm going to ask you all to have a hashtag AG Live Challenge, and that's going to be to show a piece that you've used pearls in. And we may have done this one already, but I love pearls, so I don't care. We can do it 100 times, and I'll be super happy with that. If you don't know what that is, we have a Facebook group going on, and that is, let me see if I can find that. We have a Facebook group called the Allegory Gallery Designs Challenges. And you can post your creation there. Make sure to hashtag it AG Live Challenge so that William and I can see it. And that was to use pearls in a design, whether they're freshwater or if you're fancy Tahitian pearls. We'd love to see your pearl creations. We're going to have pearls tonight. I love pearls. They hold a very sentimental place in my life. When I was a very small child, my mom pulled me aside and she had this red wicker basket kind of purse thing that had this giant, I thought giant, I haven't seen it in a couple years. My mom said it went missing, so I don't know what happened to it. But anyways, there was this kind of pearl, and she had said that it had come from my grandma. And she was telling me stories about my grandma in the Philippines, who I never knew because she passed away before I was born. So I have always loved pearls, and they've always had a special place in my heart. I think they're really cool. Pearls, they symbolize wisdom and beauty and refinement and all kinds of lovely things. Some people symbolize pearls as resilience. And there is a time where pearls were, before they were cultured, were worth a lot, and because they were even more rare. And pearls, the one pearl, there's a famous story, and I don't know how true this is, but they had this like competition of who could have the most fancy banquet. And Cleopatra was invited, and she was like, I can beat you all. And she went to this lavish party, and they were having all this like 80 courses and a vomitorium and all that business. I don't know if that actually happened or not, but it sounds cool in my mind. Well, they did have a thing called a vomitorium, but anyways, that's something that y'all probably don't want to hear about, maybe. But it's basically like they could purge themselves so they could eat more. So anyways, so we went to this fancy party. It's all like gilded gooses and all that business. And Cleopatra was like, I can beat y'all right now. I'm going to throw it down. And she took off a pearl earring, and the pearl was great big. And they said that she dropped it in the wine and swished it around, and supposedly the pearl dissolved, which that actually doesn't work. Maybe if you like left it in. Some say that she crushed it up and then poured it into her drink, and then drank it. And then they said, then she's like, you want to do better? I can do better. And she's going to reach for the other earring, and then they begged her not to do it because it was too much waste and too much extravagance. And at that point, one of her pearl earrings could buy an entire army. So that goes to show just how, the prices of things flex and change. And then at one point they were cultured, and there a couple different people have tried to do it, but Mikimoto was the one who was kind of successful at getting the process down and made them much more accessible. Nowadays, you don't have to, have an army to be able to afford some really cool, beautiful pearls. And I think that's wonderful. Now, there's a lot of misconceptions about pearls. A lot of times people say, oh, well, it's a grain of sand that got caught in the oyster or the clam. And you should also know there's different kinds of pearls, but they're made in mollusks, but they can grow in clams and oysters or anything like that. But mollusks are designed to be filter feeders. So if you took a handful of sand and threw it in the little mouth hole, it would just expel it. And that's what it's designed to do. So a lot of times it's from when they're damaged. There's a shell, or it's when a little particle of shell kind of gets embedded into some of the tissue, and that gets put inside the mollusk, and it causes it to get coated in nacre, which is that kind of brilliant solution to make it softer so that it doesn't irritate the creature. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. I can see how that kind of would have inspired people who did not know the difference. So I can see how that they came up with that. I see a couple other people. Artsy Sciencey is watching. Charlie's watching on Instagram. Hey friends, hopefully y'all are doing well. Marion says there are fireworks, but can't remember what your hands need to do. Oh, I don't know. For that, did that do it? Double thumbs up. Oh, that's it. Double thumbs up is fireworks, apparently. Good. Charlie on Instagram says hello. Hello back. So we're having a pearl party today. I love pearls. And there's all kinds of stories about them. If you're interested in learning more about them, Victoria Finlay has a wonderful book called Jewels. There's also a book called Stone by Asia Reardon, which is also really good. Both of those are lovely books with stories about pearls. And the nice thing is that they cite their references. So if you really want to go on a deep dive, you can go into that. I was also super lucky. I was able to go to the Tennessee Pearl Farm. Was it last year? Maybe 2 years ago. But it was really cool. They took us around and showed us some of the I don't know what they're called, but they have these cages that have the shells in them, and then they put them in the water. And then they were like, "Come on back. We're gonna, if you come back, we'll take you out and show you around." So that's pretty fun. And yeah, Charlie says, "Loved hearing about pearls." Yeah, I love it. I love pearls. They're really cool, and I find them extremely fascinating. And I love that there's such history to them. And one of my favorite stories from that book, and I can't remember which book it was somebody was going to a dinner party, and it was a super fancy dinner party, and they got there early. And the maid, she walked up and opened the door, and she had all these big fancy pearl necklaces on, and the guy was like, "Whoa, wow, y'all must pay the maids a lot if they can afford that as their like work attire." And when he told that to the hostess, she said, "Oh, I have them wear the pearls before I put them on, because the oils in the skin um, actually make pearls more lustrous. So if you have a pearl necklace that's a little bit dull, it's good to put it on every once in a while. One of the care things is don't wear them in anything that's super harsh. So if you have a pearl necklace and you're going to go into the hot tub, maybe take it off beforehand, because any of the strong chemicals or detergents or even perfume that's really like aggressive, you may want to put that on before, do that. Not while you're wearing them, or spritz it on your wrist or whatever. But you don't want to damage your pearls. They are soft and slightly porous, so that those simple steps will help keep your pearls as lustrous as possible. So if you do have those, you can easily polish them up and take care of them. So I always try to rotate them also. And I love that pearls are becoming more popular with especially male athletes, but male celebrities. And it's a kind of a cool trend, I think. And there was a thing back in the day called swagger portraits. And so rich dudes trying to find a lady would get these paintings done of them, and they'd have all these pearls on, and then they would send them off. And basically, it was like Tinder, old fashioned, 1400 style. And they would go and they'd basically shop them out that way. So I think and it was like a way of showing off that you had wealth or status, or that you were really cool and maybe had really a festive fashion sense. And also it was portable wealth. So there you go. And did you know that you can get pearls, Scottish pearls? There's Tennessee pearls, Scottish pearls. They actually had pearls that were found in the river in London. However, after the Industrial Revolution, the water was so bad that they didn't have that anymore. So some of the old pearls that were found in Egypt actually trace back to England, which I think is pretty cool. Susan says, "I have the Asia Reardon book called Stone. It's awesome. Highly recommend." I hope that she makes more. I thought that was a really good book. I'm always intrigued by them, so I just always want more. There was one book called Color by Victoria Finlay, and then there's another book called Jewels, and then I think she made a companion book, but I haven't seen it yet. But I enjoyed those a lot. All right, so I'm not gonna wait too long. I'm gonna kind of get into it. How about that? Marion says pearls, cloth of gold, cloth of silver, very popular in the 16th century for the rich. Portable wealth was a big thing. So, and it's not just then either. Like, I watched, I took a casting class in Tennessee at Aeromont, and they showed some of the molds, these stone molds that were carved, where they had these Chinese coins. And a lot of times people think of those and they're like, why are there holes? And it was because they could string them up and you could have easily accessible currency, which I think is pretty neat. So instead of like counting one by one by one by one with the coins, you could have like a string of like 100 coins or however many. You could just drop it down and go. But also, like chains, sometimes in like rapper culture, they'd be like, oh, chain, why would you ever want those big chains as a reminder of slavery? But really it was because you could wear your wealth, and you had autonomy and freedom if you had your own money, and you could walk around with it. So there are other things like cowrie shells and things like that. But yeah, I think that's such a interesting idea to have that embedded. I saw somebody, like a modern day equivalent I saw, was somebody took the little chip out of their credit card and then they bezel set it into a ring, so they could just like power up, put their ring on. You know how they have that thing where it's like a tap pad, and people could just like shop that way. So I thought that was kind of cool. You may end up paying for a lot of things that you didn't know you're going to pay for if it's on your hand. Yeah. So anyways, I will flip the camera around and then we'll get started. How about it? I also wanted to say how to claim. So first things first, I messaged William and he said that we could do 10% off lots today, 24 hours only until the next live, y'all. So if you want to save a little bit of money, you can do that. You can save 10% off all lots claimed tonight until basically the next live. So you have 24 hours to claim your lots, and you'll save 10% automatically. No discount needed, no discount code needed, or anything like that. We'll just automatically take it off your invoice. So I'll have to remind William about that. He's hopefully going to join us after his class is finished up and come on down. Maybe if he's watching, he'll bring me a drink, because I'm not used to talking a lot, believe it or not. And my throat is getting dry like the Sahara. So hopefully he'll see this video, and I'm going to send it out in a message and manifest that beverage. All right. So to purchase, let's see. A lot of you are longtime supporters, so I probably don't need to go over this. There's a little talking at the bottom, but I know like on Instagram, if you tune in, it's like micro mini style, so you may not be able to see the ticker tape parade going down below. But to purchase from this video, take down the lot number and send it to us in an email at info@allegorygallery.com. If you want more than one, and there are more than one lot available of that, please indicate how many of that lot. Otherwise, we will assume that you want one from the lots that we have multiple lots of. The other thing that you should do is, if you are a new customer or have moved, please send a current and valid shipping address. Otherwise, we can't send it to you. It also allows us to know, if you are in Pennsylvania, that we need to charge sales tax. So Unfortunately, we have to do that, but that's the way. And what else? Please also send us a new email to info@allegorygallery.com every time. And don't reply to old emails because the way that happens is then it collates your emails and you won't get first dibs. And this is a first come, first serve kind of operation. So it's a very good way to lose, not get anything. So if you send us an email, I think there's a squirrel on the roof or in between, and that's very disconcerting. Not my favorite. That's definitely 100% not my favorite sound. Anyways, I see a couple more things. People said stuff. Susan says, "Be still, my beating heart. My radio friend Rob just played one of my favorite Interpol songs." Oh, good. Marianne said, "Glad music can please some." Oh, are you? Marianne says, "Your little friends are wrecked." That's not my little friends. That's William's little friends. Sandra says, "I could hear that." Yeah, that's not my favorite. I think there's a squirrel in there. They've got their little nut sanctuary up there. That makes me deeply uncomfortable and is not my favorite thing. So I don't know what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to plug up the holes, do something. But that makes my skin crawl backwards. So send positive thoughts or whatever, thoughts and prayers to resolve all that. Anyways, all right, so we got down how to claim. And is there anything else about claiming? The rules. I can't think of anything, so if I missed it, Sanders says in the house. We're here at Star Cottage Studio, and Star Cottage Studio is a 100-year-old plus building here, and it is not, our sighting is not awesome, so there's plenty of places for things to come in. So yeah. Patrice says, "I had squirrels in the house. It's tough to get them out. You have my sympathy." Marion says, "Better squirrels than rats." Well, it could be mice, but that sounded too big to be a little mouse. So I am hoping that is a squirrel, because otherwise it's going to be King Kong style. And I don't have that. Charlie says, "Are any of the cats good hunters?" Barnaby would love it if we like set him loose and said, "Kill." Blood makes the grass grow. He would just love it. But I don't think that would be great because in theory he could get stuck, and then that's like, rescue 911 style. And yeah, not my favorite. Susan says, "Oh dear, a few years back we had some in our attic, drove the cats nuts. They were finally ejected humanely." Oh, good. Amy says, "Trash panda." I hope that it's not a raccoon. It doesn't sound as big as all that. But yeah, again, not my favorite. So hopefully I'll like pearls so that I can hopefully afford to take care of that, because that's definitely not my favorite situation about this. All right. I love the cottage, but that's a little too rustic for me. Fending off myself from like critters, not for me. Sanders says, "Hope it's not a rat. My friend had rats in Miami and she had a time getting them out." Oh no. Yeah, that sounds horrific. So yeah, let's hope. Marion says, "Sounds more like a squirrel than a raccoon." I don't know what is up in there, but it's not for me. And I hope y'all hear that and don't retaliate by giving me the rabies or whatever you got. William. All right, I'm gonna flip this around. Y'all gonna see the ceiling where the squirrel friend lives. Where William's girlfriend, Susan said that would have been a really big rat. I don't want that. Either of it. No rats, no mouse, no nothing. I know I should be all love and light, but that's not for me, y'all. All right. So we've got the ruler. We've got a piece of currency, so you can do size comparison. Charlie says, rats are awful. They forced my friend out of her apartment, and she was still paying rent for the rat to live there. Oh no, 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 no. We don't. We on a budget. We can't be fronting no rats to have no house. So let's just be truth tellers and saying that we're gonna hope they find a new house elsewhere. Either way, but one thing I will say is that when we got the cottage, we had to get all of our electrical redone in the cottage, and it was a very expensive process. We were lucky that it was less expensive than it could be, because one of our friends, her husband's electrician, and they gave us friends and family discount. But still, at the same time, it was very costly. And they said that some critters had gotten into the wiring and had chewed the wiring and had made it dangerous. So that's why I don't want to share or cohabitat. One of the many reasons that I don't want that. But there you go. All right. So let's start. Marion says Norway rats can be quite large. Well, they can stay in Norway then. I'm not trying to be sassy, just truth telling. All right, we got LP lots, and then I was gonna do PP lots, but then I was for Pearl Party, but then I was like, y'all, don't let me. It's gonna be, it's just gonna get out of control. So LP for Love Pearls, I think. Hopefully we didn't do any LP lots recently. All right. Are y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? I was thinking of maybe depending on how my voice feels or what I'm up to, maybe I'll do a little something demo. And don't forget, you can save 10% off if you claim within 24 hours. So I have 2 strands of these. I've tried to give you good prices on stuff. If you look at pearl prices, it's gone way, way high. And there's a couple reasons why. These are all vintage pearls, by the way, but there's a couple reasons why. Some of the places have the fuel costs have gone up, which means that if you import stuff, it also goes up. And also, maybe I'll do a giveaway. Remind me, we're going to try to do 30 lots. Maybe I'll do a giveaway here and there to entice y'all to keep watching, so that I'm not lonesome dove and sitting by myself talking to the universe and expressing my loneliness. So stick around and hang out with me. Even if you're not in the mood to buy stuff, you can still talk. I'm not going to be one of those people that you only have to buy to hang out. I had one person that I knew. I was going to say a friend, but we're not friends. One person I knew that said if somebody doesn't buy with them, then they mean nothing to them. And I think about that often, because we never want to create a space that's like that. We want everybody to feel welcome, whether you have 50 cents in your account or you have 50 million in your account. We want everybody to feel safe and like they have a place with us and like you belong. Whether you or going out to dinner and having lobster with caviar and truffle fluff on top, or eating hot dogs out the can. Everybody's welcome here. And we do have to sell stuff, and that helps us keep this mission going. But that's the reality of the world that we live in. But yeah, hang out. All right. Michelle says, "Wow, that's messed up what they said." Amy says, "Wow, that's a crude way of thought." I'm not going to say who it was, but yeah. So yeah. So, moving on to being positive and full of light and appreciation. Look at these pearls. Man says, people go out to dinner. Yeah, sometimes. Um, these are really cool. I love these. Some of people call these wire pearls, and that's because they've got these groovy kind of marks on them. LOL, pun intended. Groovy. Get it? Michelle says, love hanging out with you, all of you, even when I can't text, I listen. Oh, good. Amy says, not everyone has free flowing disposable income. Yeah, I get it. I had, I've been in situations where I definitely did not feel welcome because I did not spend lots of money with certain companies. And I'd be at like an event where they spend, some of those people are dropping 50 grand on product, and I spend like, because we're a small shop, we drop like maybe $500 throughout the year. And it was not the best feeling. So I know what that's like. And I hope nobody ever has to feel like that. Everybody should feel welcome just the way they are. But I love these. These are so cool. They've got some really cool texture. They're really interesting. They're quite large. I have 2 strands of these available. They're $25 a strand, and you get to save. Let me zero that business out. You get to save 10% off until so these are roughly 10 millimeters by some. They're not completely round, so they're around 8 by 10 ish. Some of them are more round, and some of them are less round. So they're around 10 millimeter, and I've got 2 of these. And yeah. Lena says, comments, likes, recommendation, shares are all free ways to help small businesses. Yes, this is true. And if you do comments of 4 words or more, they get seen more. And here's another thing. If you share my post on my personal timeline, I actually get a little bit of money from that. So people share my posts, my personal posts. I don't know why you would share some of my personal posts, but I try to post some cool, interesting things that are uplifting, or things that are interesting that I find cool. I sometimes find really cute artwork of other people, and I try to highlight that. But if people share that, I actually get a little kickback. So I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I actually do. So share away with wild abandon and destroy that love button. Um, Angela said, rats or squirrels poo plenty in attic. One chewed water line and flooded downstairs. Change to low deductible if you're hearing them a lot. Susan says, once in a while, it's usually lunch or picking up a pizza. Yeah, I think that's nice. If and there's no shame in that. Like, some people they don't like to cook, or they can't cook, and one of the things that I love about going to the craft schools is that I don't have to cook anything. And I love to cook, but it does take, the meals that I make usually take an hour or two to make. So I don't know what is happening. Hold on, y'all. Y'all hear me banging at the thing? Amy says, I eat out a lot, and I would take your food suggestions any day of the week, Amy. Your food posts make me happy in my heart, and I love it. So I can't wait. Sometimes I wish I wasn't a vegetarian because I would be down there enjoying that a lot. Anyway, so this is LP1, $25 per strand. There's 2 strands available. And they're nice, big, they're white, and they have a lot of texture. Excuse me. All right. So up next, we've got LP2. We only have 1 strand of LP2, so you're going to have to be quick. Let me pull up the email so that I can see if anything's sold. How about that? Amy said it's getting all Caddyshack in the cottage. You telling me we're going to have to do something about that. William has switched something, so I don't know how. If that's coming through or not. If somebody would be so kind to send me a test to the info@Allegory Gallery email, that would be helpful. And I'll just delete it. You don't have to send anything like, a claim or not or something. But anyways, all right. LP2, $28. Now these are spectacular. Says, I'd love to eat out more, but we have 17% restaurant tax there. Oh boy. That's wild. I was in, I think, Gatlinburg, and they had a pretty high. So these pearls are really interesting because they have these little bumps all over them, and they're really lovely color. You're going to see a close-up of my nails. But isn't that cool? Maybe I won't go see you for lunch, Lennis, when I go down there. And be like, can we meet outside the city limits? These are really cool pearls, and they're very lustrous. These are vintage pearls. I have 1 strand of this available. This is LP2. It's $28 for the strand, and you can send. Anne said, I sent a test email, and a bounce back that said it was blocked. Oh, no. Let me close this mail program down. And then I'll open it again. You're gonna have to send. William's gonna have to set up a Hoopty email account. Michelle says same. Ooh. Marion says hers was sent. Let's see. There's some kind of new. His computer is different than mine, and so sorry about this, y'all. Oh, here it goes. Let's see. 1 moment, please. All right. He has some, I don't know what that is because I'm getting emails from July 5th, and it is definitely not July 5th. All right. You know, technology, is it Mercury retrograde? I believe it. Y'all tell me it's Mercury retrograde, I believe it, because technology has been a little bit funkadoodle. Amy says, this happened to me before with a different email. Suzanne says, my test email was sent. And Jermaine says, I sent an email and so far so good. Yeah, all of these are from like the 5th. Oh boy. Okay, so this came up. I don't know if they recently changed, if he changed a setting or something. So we're just gonna go with it. We'll find out. Susan says starts Monday. We're in the shadow days. Oh great. Michelle said check your spam. I didn't send and ended in spam. Let's see if I can pull up the spam. Sorry about this. Well, I don't know. Junk email. That's also showing up from the 5th. I don't get it. Anyways, let me check on the other computer real fast. And I'm gonna look. All right, so I don't know what's going on. So I'm just gonna continue on. And I'm just gonna see. This is kind of frustrating. Well, I'm gonna show you the beads, and if you want to take them down and send them maybe later, I don't know. This is because yeah, this is so weird. Anyways, so I'm gonna measure this and show you these beads. And last night we were having, like, I was really disappointed because I thought the bone beads would do better, and there were only like a couple. Lena says my email was blocked too. Sorry. Charlie says I'm catching up between chores. Well, this is fun and exciting. So, anyways, we are working on our. Suzanne says, I love the bone beads. Hopefully, you got something because this is so weird. All right. So, I'm just going to quit the mail program and try it again and see if that doesn't help. I apologize for making this. Michelle says, try it again, blocked. All right. So, let's see. I'm trying to think of another email address that we can send it to you that will not get blocked. All right. So, let's do this. I'm going to make a new email address that y'all can use. That's so weird. Anyways. Sandra says, what if you use Messenger for tonight's sales? I don't know, because we have this thing on our phone that has an auto response message. So that's crazy making. I haven't gotten any new emails, so this is what is troubling me, is that people said that they had sent stuff and then there's new messages. The last message that it shows is from 7.5. All of these are 7.5. And I don't know a back door to get into this. So let's see. All right. I guess you can try using Messenger. I hate to tell people that because people get in the habit of this. But for tonight only, if you want to send a message to our messenger, the Allegory Gallery messenger, I don't know if that will work because some of y'all are on YouTube and don't have Facebook accounts. All right. So, anyways, let's see what we can do. And this is Williams Allegory Gallery address didn't get sent back. All right. So for tonight only, that also says July 5th. I don't know what's that. So, I don't really know. Marion says maybe Andrew should just do another demo. Yeah, I don't know what to do because this is kind of frustrating on my end because I don't know how nothing is working and either computer, not this computer, the laptop that I've got set up, or the shipping computer. So I don't want people to send emails and then they can't access them or we can't access them. So it sounds like this computer needs an update. Yeah, I have both computers going and they should both be up to date because William was using them earlier in the day. So I don't really know if it's a glitch with the mail system that we use because we have Apple products. So, anyways, let me think for a second about what we can do, and then we'll go from there. All right. So, how about we do a little project, and let me think about what we can do real fast. How about I'm just gonna hang out with y'all and make some stuff, and we'll start up. All right. So these ones, I'll take this off the board for now. I'll wait till William gets out of his class. It should be done soon. So I have these pearls. These ones, they're just coated, but I think they're really lovely. I'm going to use that for a project. I don't know what I'm going to do, but let's do it, y'all, because otherwise it's going to be, you're going to be like, why are we watching this hot trash garbage? All right. So I've got two little head pins here. And we'll just recap about doing jump rings I got, or flare up dangles. Let's roll with it. So I've got these two. These are two, the holes are too big, so we're gonna have to put something in there to block up the hole real fast. And yeah, so let's see what else we can do. I have a couple things. That's kind of boring. I don't want to do that. So I have these beautiful gold pearls. They're faceted gold pearls, and they're really lovely. I'm going to take these and do something with them. Let's do... I have some lovely white pearls and some gray pearls, and we'll do something with them. How about that? And Michelle says we miss that, you hanging out and making stuff. Yeah, I would do it more, but we have to sell stuff, otherwise we go out of business. So that's one of the reasons why we've been doing more of these type of lives, the selling lives, because of that. So the changes of our business, but we're gonna roll with it, and I'm gonna make some stuff with y'all, and hopefully William will come here, and he has this like magic touch with technology, and he like touches it and it works. Me, I have like the opposite. So yeah. Jermaine says, yes, it feels like you've been gone a long time. Yeah, I have. I've been on the road. Okay, and Lena said, okay, 3 pages since some are sold out. I don't know what that means. All right. Suzanne says, simple pearls are very popular in New Orleans. Sandra says it seems like a domain authority issue. All right. Well, I'm going to do this. So I've got these lovely faceted gold pearls, and I think I'm going to kind of lay out a design maybe. And yeah, so that'll be fun. And I see a needle. Maybe I can do something wire wrapped or stitched. Let's see. Look at the scissors. And then hopefully got this little felt mat so the beads don't roll all over everything. Y'all want to see some of the stuff that I worked on while I was at Airmont? I didn't show these. And I made this little cat face. And I think that's pretty cool. So I put this in, I did some, what you call that, sand casting. So I used this, but unfortunately it didn't come out all the way. So hopefully I'm going to do this again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of carve out the back of this, and hopefully that will make this lighter, because the piece that I did cast, it did get kind of chunky monkey style. And then kind of while I was hanging out, I kind of started on this octopus. One of my friends who I made there, named Mary Beth, she showed me this ring that she made out of PMC. And she's like, I want to make an octopus. And I was like, I'll make an octopus too. And so I kind of made this just real quick. So it does need a lot of work to kind of sculpt that out. And then this blue wax is the hard wax. And that's the one that I like to carve, or you have to carve because it has more plasticizers in it. But I thought this could be cool as like a ring, or as like a pendant, or like as a toggle closure, like a loop. So that's kind of cool. The other thing that's really crazy is that I have the calipers are just going wild right now. I haven't touched these, and then they keep like, well, maybe since I'm not gonna, like, isn't that weird? So anyways, oh, and I turned it off. Let's see, here's turn off. Turn off. And y'all telling me that I'm not going crazy? Jermaine said my calipers are doing it too. I need a new battery. These are new, so if this comes on and there's no thing, I'm gonna leave. Oh my goodness. All right. If it pops on when this on, I'm gonna just go, cause that's I'm gonna burn some sage and ring some bells or do something, cause this is something in the air tonight. The meteor shower done disrupted the universe. All right. Marianne says sun activity is high the last day or so. Anne says maybe you've got a radioactive squirrel. Well, the radioactive squirrel needs to rehome itself, because I can't be dealing with all this. I got enough things in my life that I'm trying to do. So anyways, here's this. I made this. I started carving it out. It's kind of satisfying to carve this. It's kind of like plastic. It's a plasticizer in it. So I've been that's one of the things, but it's gonna be chunky monkey style if I cast it the way it is right now, because it's pretty big. But I think it could be cool. And then the other thing I made is I made a bunch of little fruit with faces, and I was starting on this one. And this is a little pineapple with a face. And this is the soft wax, which is a real pale pink color. So anyways, I've got this. I'm going to set these out. I haven't done a stringing project in a while, so maybe I'll do a simple stringing project. So I'm going to kind of lay out my design. I love these pearls. Faceted pearls you don't really see very much anymore because they are kind of rare. And one of the things of why they're rare is they were popular, really popular in maybe the early 2000s, 90s, late 90s. But what they do with the faceted pearls is they take a pearl and then they facet it like a jewel, and it creates these kind of windows, which I think are kind of neat. And I think that's pretty cool. You don't see these very often, or if you do, they are ones that are kind of chewed up. The last time I was in Tucson, I asked to go to if they had any faceted pearls, and they showed me their pearls, and they look so terrible. And I was like, "Well, I have a ton of money, but do you have any other ones?" And they said no. And they said that one thing is that because they facet them, there's more of a chance of them breaking, or they also are, or they have to use good pearls. And if they're going to use good pearls, then they might as well just sell them as good pearls instead of trying to, facet a really good, beautiful pearl. So you don't really see them as often because they're not produced as much nowadays, if at all. And if you do see them, generally speaking, they're vintage stock. So that's kind of the explanation of that. But yeah, so a lot of the ones that they have now, they use that technique to kind of disguise pearls that aren't very good. So if a pearl gets a bad dye job, because they do dye pearls, sometimes what happens is then they'll go and they'll try to facet them to get like, the surface of them off, and then, use it like that. But these are nice. Michelle says, we got a bunch of ants this morning, but they didn't go anywhere where food was. They're running around all confused. Now it's a little cooler. There are only a few left. Oh, maybe the heat? I don't know. So I'm just going to lay this out and we'll see how it goes. I love these tiny little white pearl rondelles. I may not keep them in this design, but I'm putting 3 in between them. And you have to remember also that if you're stringing them and you're laying them out like this, like on their side like this, they're not actually going to be that long because they're thinner this way and they're wider that way. So you do have to keep that in mind, because if you lay this out on like a jewelry making board and you have them laid out and you're like, this is a perfect choker length, and then you string it up and then it decreases by an inch or two because they get then turned on their side, then that's less than ideal, right? So just keep that in mind. I tend to make my necklaces longer anyways. I love that kind of flapper style. So yeah, I like necklaces like that. So I tend to make longer necklaces, but yeah. So do you think, I think we should go with a gold bead, like accent, because this has the kind of a warmth to it from the gold pearls already. So I think a gold bead would look really nice with that. So if you didn't see last night's live, we showed some more bone beads, but we also showed some brass beads. We also showed some shells. So it wasn't just bone. And tonight I was going to show you all some pearls, but the mail program had a different idea in mind. So I'm just rolling it with it, y'all. And we're going to look at these pearls together. And I'm going to be making something, a little something, something. Let's see. So I kind of just lay things out like that. Sometimes people like to use a necklace board. I used to use a necklace board, but I don't really use it anymore. It is nice to have your beads not roll all over everything and to get a better sense of how big stuff is. So that is a plus on that. What I am going to do is I'm going to go get some gold beads right now. Little gold metal beads. Spacers. All right, so I just found some string wire and I'm going to use that. Oh, Charlie says, I'm baking cookies now and watching the project. Oh, good. I would like some cookies. I could use that. I'm going to use some soft flax. I really like soft flax as a beading material. It's nice and supple and flexible and strong. I usually, that's the only thing I string my personal projects on. There are other brands out there that are pretty good. Depends on, you know, what you like. I like that. And I'm going to, Charlie says, I'd love to bring some over if I could. That would be good. We need to get the transporter set up. Then William can be transported over here, and we could do a IT consultation. All right. So I love to have things of different sizes. And I do love asymmetrical designs. When I first started designing for books and magazines, I was kind of known for my asymmetrical designs. Michelle says, I love my sticky mat. It's two-sided. One side looks like a necklace board. The other side has rulers. That's good. I generally have not been in love with sticky boards that I've had in the past because they've been a little bit too sticky, and we have cats and stuff, and so it was starting to look kind of terrible. And there is one that I know you can like wash, but I don't think that's around a lot. Um, so yeah. So anyways, so uh, so I was used to be known for asymmetrical designs, and I still make them. I make these necklaces called treasure necklaces, and it's kind of like a everything goes bead soup style, where I have a lot of different beads that are maybe sometimes in a similar colorway, but I just have kind of like a random assortment. And I like those, and the they have kind of like an asymmetrical vibe. But one thing that I like to do with almost all of my designs is I like to put spacer beads in between. And I think that that helps, even if things are really different, like if the beads are like really, um, they're all different kinds. That one spacer bead, if you have a uniform spacer bead, it can tie things together and really like bring a design together. So I think that's a nice thing that can be done. I like it because it almost looks knotted when it's all finished. But for this, for this project, I like it because it gives it a little bit of glitz and glam to it. So it's got a little bit of like sparkle or a little bit of that metallic. Michelle says, mine you can wash with soap and water. Oh, good. Yeah, the old timey ones you couldn't wash because the adhesive would start coming off. So, yeah. So I'm just going to continue to string these on. I always kind of default going back to stringing. No matter what I do, I always go back to it. One of my first jobs in the industry was designing for a magazine called Stringing. Eventually, it was renamed to be called Stringing Magazine, or Jewelry Stringing. And I just love stringing. It's one of those things that it gives a sense of immediacy. It's one of those things where I enjoy bead weaving, but bead weaving, I feel like unless you're proficient, it can take a really long time. And for a lot of the designs I used to make or make now, I just don't have a lot of time for that. So a lot of the things I make, I incorporate basic wire work and stringing, and I use that to complement my metalsmithing pieces. So, yeah, it's just one of those things where I like stringing because it is something that you can get kind of done relatively quickly. And I appreciate that because I'm pretty busy. So I don't generally get to make a lot of my own jewelry all the time because of that, which is kind of a bummer. But I do always go back to it. And it's because there is something lovely about letting the materials sing. I think it really highlights and kind of shows off the beads in like a really nice way. Sometimes different materials, like if you processes, can kind of take away from the beads themselves. So they become like sometimes wire, for example, the wire is just so cool by itself that there's like a sapphire in it and it doesn't look like anything. But I feel like sometimes with like stringing, you can have really cool interesting beads and it really showcases them in a nice way. Michelle says, so many magazines you can't get anymore. Yeah, a lot of them are closed, which is a disappointing thing. Um, and the pandemic did not help it. But yeah, so Amy says, RIP String Magazine. Yeah, that was one of my favorites, and I worked for them for a long time. I eventually did tech editing for them. I don't think a lot of people knew about that, but I did tech editing for them. So then I'd get projects and look them over and review them and write some of them. And people would send kind of there are some folks who are really amazing designers, but were not very good instruction makers. So they would send their pieces in and kind of have loose notes, and then I kind of would have to extrapolate how to make this and make it make sense. And so that was another job that I did. I did that mostly when we were moving to Pennsylvania. I also did that for different books, so that was kind of cool. Um, and I don't think a lot of people knew that about that, but I don't think they also wanted people to know that I rewrote a lot of directions for folks. Um, and I always would try things out too. So, and the more you write instructions for jewelry, the more you can kind of logically figure out the steps that you need to do to make it happen and to make them also concise. Because sometimes you can have a really cool project and it's a really um, interesting and satisfying kind of way of making. However, if the directions are too long, they didn't always have a lot of space. So part of that also was editing the length, because I can be super wordy. And so it was one of those things that I had to kind of moderate that so that I could or help other people to edit. And sometimes it's easier when you're editing other people's stuff. It's like way easier actually when you edit other people's stuff. So let's see. I've got a couple people watching over on Instagram, a couple new people. There's one called Off the Rack Designs. Thanks for watching. There's You Betcha Beads. Howdy. There's KSSW464762 watching. Hello. Thank you for tuning in. It's always appreciated. And Dale says, watching from work. Thanks for watching. Um, yeah, so I do miss the old magazines. I thought they were really lovely. Whenever I got a piece into a magazine, even if it wasn't like anything like big, like sometimes I would just get an earring in a magazine. I always liked that. It was nice. It felt like people saw my work and appreciated it. And I was really honored to have my work be featured in an international publication that got shipped all around the world. There was one time, well, there's a couple different kind of odd stories about that time in my life. Um, but one time I used to live in New York City. I don't know if you've been following along for a while, you probably knew that already. If you're new to us, we haven't lived there for a while now, maybe 15 years, because we've been together for 17 and we lived there for 2 before we moved. That's weird to think about that. But anyways, Susan says, I love String Magazine. I mourn its demise to this day. Yeah, me too. That was one of my favorites. One of my favorites, it was a limited run. It was called Handcrafted Jewelry. And I loved that magazine because it did all these cool like mixed media pieces. Um, in addition to like stringing. So like I just thought that was like the coolest magazine and it only ran for a limited time. But anyways, one of the kind of funny stories about living in New York City is that even though it's a city of millions of people and there's tourists and all kinds of stuff, it's still a small world. It's like um surprisingly interesting thing. William says, I'm on my way. I know what happened to email. Hoping it can be fixed. It's messy. And Marianne says, oh, not messy. You may have to bring me a snack too. Like maybe like a granola bar or something if you're hearing this. Because I'm getting hungry and I'm weak and shivering and not equipped to deal with stuff like email not working. Charlie says, love the story time. Oh, good. I'm glad you like it. So I lived in New York City, and I was walking from maybe work. I don't remember, but it was in the daytime. And I used to open one of the restaurants I worked at. I don't know if y'all knew that either. That I used to work for Tom Colicchio of Top Chef fame. And when I lived in New York, I was a barista for a long time, and I eventually moved up in the ranks and was a manager of restaurants. I don't know how many of y'all knew me back then. Some of y'all probably knew me back then. Some of y'all are new and maybe not knew that about me. I worked all the way through art school. I had 3 jobs sometimes. So, yeah, I love working there, and I love the ethos of the company. I really liked like the value of food. I grew up poor, but food was kind of like a love language. So we did, they may not be able to say that they love you with their mouths, but people could make something that could nourish your body. And that was another way that people could say they loved you. But I did not grow up around like really fancy stuff. So when it was like a new education for me to learn what different things were and then to value the process of that. Because sometimes, people are like, oh, it's just fancy to be fancy. But sometimes there are some things that happen with the process that really enhances the flavors of things. Um, you can cut up a strawberry and enjoy it just the way it is. But if you sprinkle a little bit of sugar on it, it causes the juices to macerate, and it can enhance the flavor of it. And if you do stuff where you impart the flavor to the sugar by putting like a vanilla bean in your sugar bowl, it can also have another point of adding flavor to it. So there's all kinds of little things that you can do to add flavor to your food. But anyways, I digress. I'm going way off uh off into the universe of my talking time. But so anyways, I used to work for Marianne says, I had to deal with messy email issue. It was annoying. Would be worse if I ran a business. Yeah, that's not my favorite today. I'm also thinking about like if I'm missing any emails and I have some kind of important things like travel things going on and dealing with other stuff. But anyway, so it was the afternoon, and I was bored, waiting for a train to come in the subway, and this woman, and I'm guessing her daughter, came up to me, and they said, "Are you Andrew?" And I was like, maybe. And they said, "Are you Andrew Thornton?" And I said, yeah. Why? And at first I was like, man, is this the IRS? Like, am I getting hunted down, like tracked down? And they were like, then she started unbuttoning her like jacket, and I was like, what is going on? And then she started pulling down her top, and I was like, yeah, this is a wrong person. No stripogram up in here, please. And then she reached down in her cleavage and she pulled out a necklace that she was wearing. And she's like, oh my goodness. And she and her daughter were tourists, and they were visiting New York City. And apparently she had read or saw one of my projects in Stringing Magazine, and had made that project, and she was going to show me what she'd made. So it ended up not being creepy or weird. It was actually kind of cool that she recognized me. I mean, I've looked pretty much, I mean, besides gaining like 50 pounds, I've had the same kind of look for the past 17-ish years. There was a sad time when I tried to grow a faux hawk. That looked terrible. There's also been some times with facial hair, but for the most part, I've had the same kind of shaved head look for many, many years. So it wasn't weird to think that somebody would recognize me. They used to put my picture in the magazines too, so people sometimes recognize me from the magazine that way. I also had a really popular blog once, when blogs were like the thing, and I met a lot of people through that. Some of y'all I may know from there. Susan Surreal used to be my customer from a long time ago. I mean, it's going way back, maybe 20 years or so at this point. Um, and not to date you, but yeah. Uh, anyways, so that was a fun kind of like New York moment, but also a fun kind of micro celebrity kind of feeling that somebody like recognized me for my work. So I always appreciate it when my work can kind of get out there in the world and can be shared, so that other people see things. Um, Charlie says, that's such a wholesome story. Yeah, it could have been, something else. I've also had people flash me other things, and that was less wholesome. Um, but, anyways. Um, I do miss Streaming Magazine, but I do. One thing that it does take a while. There are things that you can do to speed up the process. I know some people use a thing called a bead spinner. However, the thing with a bead spinner is that you don't always get, you can't make a pattern necessarily with a bead spinner. So, this is, we're literally going bead by bead with this stringing process. However, I think it's really meditative. It's one of those things that, there are people who say, oh, I don't have patience. Well, I think beading is great because, if you don't have patience before, then you have patience afterwards. um, I don't know. I like it. I think it's one of those things that I kind of zone out and kind of go into a flow. Um, we used to call it Zen state, but I don't know if people still say that. Um, but I like it. It's one of those things where, we don't necessarily have, a ton of control, or sometimes it feels like we don't have a ton of control in our lives. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's happening in this world that can be hard or scary. And, it's a lot. And sometimes it feels like we can't really do anything. It is what it is, kind of thing. But in these cases where we're doing small things, we do have control over them. And it's a good reminder that we have more control in our lives than we like to realize. Sometimes, some people are like fully activated and you know, they don't ever have those kinds of doubts or something. But for me, I know I do. I go through and I feel like, sometimes like the world is too big, and too loud and too noisy, and like what I do sometimes just contributes to that noise. So things like this help me ground and center and get back to that kind of place of feeling like I have some kind of sovereignty or autonomy over my own life. Um, Dale says, what beads are you using as spacers? These are metal seed beads. They're size 8, and they're a gilded brass. Ian says, I agree. Whether or not I have patience anywhere else, I do find beading meditative and calming. Susan says, especially stringing is so meditative. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where, it's lovely to be able to, spend a little time and make things. And I think that that's a beautiful kind of a profound thing. It's something that's kind of radical and subversive. And I know some people say, oh, I'm not radical, I'm not subversive. But it's kind of this belief and hope, and this hope that, you can make something, that you can create something, that you're a part of something bigger in this world, and that, a lot of things, they tear things down, they break things down, they destroy things. And when I'm making something, I feel like I'm helping counterbalance that destructive energy, and I'm pouring it into making something that I hope others will enjoy, that will provide kind of entertainment, or that will provide comfort, or will excite people with beauty, or make people feel like they can do it themselves and empower them through creativity. I think it's a really lovely thing when that's possible. When I feel like I've inspired people to make things, I get a thrill of it, you know. So I hope others, if you feel that as well as a maker, or maybe not, you may not be teaching other people how to make stuff, but if you do sell something, or you wear something out into the world. Also, I don't know if y'all do this or not, but I don't like, when I first started making jewelry, I used to cut wire off, and I would say, oh, this is how much wire that I'm going to use. But I started working, especially off these little spools, I started working straight off the spool. And I like this because I can control how much wire I use, and I end up with far less waste. It is something that if you don't do your project right away and you don't crimp things off, it can sometimes be headache making, because then your spool is kind of preoccupied. But for this kind of thing, it's pretty nice because I can just hang out with you and not have to worry about measuring a lot. I'm not a big measurer of things. Cindy says on Instagram, I understand those feelings. Making is restorative to me. Yeah, I think it's something that, it's a beautiful thing that can kind of, how they say, give you life. It's a belief in life, of making things, and of storytelling. Howdy, William.
Hello.
How's it going?
Oh, better than here, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's life.
Here, I got you. I heard you. I turned
Oh, you
around
heard me.
some things.
Oh, good.
Um,
It wasn't too late.
huh?
It wasn't too late.
No.
Oh, good.
Look at my little.
Oh, those look good. What
Yeah.
happened to some of them?
Some, I don't know. The glaze just didn't. It must have been didn't. I didn't dry between layers enough. These are the ones that are too dark to put the. I want to put decals on them. I have a bunch of lighter ones.
What glaze is that?
This is oh, now that you asked me, I can't think of it. Winter wood, I think.
That winter would look different.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like this, but Amy said that depending if they were sitting like this in the kiln or this in the kiln, sometimes they end up
brown.
Yeah.
I like it still.
I like it still too. I want to think. She said you can put them in the tumbler to give them a better mat, or like the back of them.
William, we're retreading old ground, bro.
I've never tumbled ceramic.
I have.
You may have.
I used to do that all the time, bro.
Yeah, so I gotta get them in the tumbler, and maybe I'll just sell those ones as is if anybody wants them.
I think these are cool. And you know what?
All of them are great, but
we can do things to them, so don't worry if you don't like
but I
something.
made more today. So
oh, good.
Different colors.
And I like that they're not super chunky.
No, I made them super light.
So that's good.
Oh, let's see if I can fix the email. So remember whenever we said we were going to get rid of our old server?
No.
When we were cutting back on things?
Oh, yeah.
And so the server expired today. And apparently, somehow was connected to our email, which it wasn't supposed to be. But it was.
Oh, good.
So, good. I don't know. I'm going to see if I can recover our email without losing all of our history.
That would be great. Charlie says, you're very inspiring. I love seeing what you're learning and making. It helps inspire me, especially if I'm in a slump. Oh, good. Yeah, you'll have to come out when I'm not on the road, and we'll get together and craft our little hearts out. All right, so I made this piece. I don't know if y'all can see this or like it. I think it's fun. I think it looks expensive, y'all, but like in a good way. So I'm gonna measure this to see how this works. All right. So this is, I'm gonna do inches, just 12 inches here. And I'll walk this business down. So it's another 9.5 inches. So 12 plus 9.5 plus whatever I use for the clasp. And I'll probably use a toggle, one of the AG Fine Cuter toggles, since the gold goes so well. Which one do you think I should use? Anybody have any suggestions? I'm gonna eat this protein bar while we decide. I'm gonna run and get that real quick. So talk amongst yourselves, as they say. Well, this is not one of our pieces, but I found this. I like this. It's a little heart. Because who doesn't love a little bit of love in your life? Cindy says, what's the options? We have everything on the internet. But this is not one of our pieces, but I like it. I don't have an idea for it. Cindy says, I have been on the heart motif this year. Well, that's good. Alright. Now, here's the tricky part. Is finding the crimp tubes.
That's a very tricky part.
You gonna talk to them for a minute?
No, I'm trying to work on this right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna be right back, y'all.
Hello, everybody. How are you? How are you? Crimping pliers are either on this table over here or over in Barb's, where Barb was wrapping, because I was doing her jewelry with her over there. Here's some pendants I made, everybody.
This William.
My pendants I made.
You did a good job. I'm proud of you.
I'm going to do more stuff to them.
I kind of like them.
I just want to tumble them so that they're not as sharp on the back, so I don't have to sandpaper them all. But there, he's back. You found things quick.
Dude,
I looked all over for those for Barb.
Mm.
Found ones that were too small, found ones that were big.
Well, you should have asked me.
I don't think you were around.
I have a phone.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have probably answered for a while.
Correct. Oh. Remember this? I think I found a home for this. Oh, what? Oh my gosh. The true, like, people like what I do. Oh my gosh. What? Alright, I found some gold crimp tubes. And we're gonna do it, y'all. Alright. So I don't know how adept y'all are or not, but I'm gonna just show you. So this is medium beading wire, flexible beading wire. It's a champagne color. I don't think they even make this anymore, but I love this color. So I string one crimp tube on, and then I'm going to string one of these metal beads, and this metal bead will help from the crimp or the lobster claw clasp from rubbing against this point. If you do, it's not the if you don't put this in, it's not the end of the world. I know plenty of people who have done this without doing that, and their jewelry holds up just fine. But that's one of the things that I was trained to do. So that's what I do. So I pass that back through that little gold bead, and then I passed it through the crimp tube. I'm making sure to hold the wires so that they're parallel to each other. I don't want the flexible beading wire to cross on itself, because if it crosses on itself, then what happens is it creates a weak spot when I close it up. So I'm being very mindful to make sure to hold this so that the beading wires are running parallel to each other. I have a crimping plier. There's two notches. There's the one closest to the tip and the one closest to your hand. And this one, the one closest to your hand will make the taco, and the one closest to the tip will close the taco up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the into the notch closest to my hand. See that? And I'm going to close, and I'm going to close firmly. All right. I'm not squeezing the heck out of it until all the life force is sucked out of it. I'm just going to close enough that it is, you can really overdo it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on the side, and then I'm going to take the notch closest to the tip and then gently close this up. And I like to gently rotate it while I'm doing this so that it makes a nice even crimp tube closure. See? And then what I do is I take some cutters. I don't know where that business is. Let me get that real quick. I got every kind of plier, cutter, whatever you want in your life, and I can't find it. William, do you remember where they are?
What are you looking for?
The cutter. There should be some black handled ones. They were on this table. Okay. You have a whole collection.
Helping her with her jewelry.
So I'm gonna get the cutters out. And what I do is I slide this up until I get close to the end of the crimp tube and making sure not to cut the main wire, but I cut that little nubbin off. See? Some people leave it. I've found that a lot of times when people leave it, it's from a long time ago when the wires used to break more often and they would have to repair the jewelry that they broke. I also have noticed that people do that more when they just smash the crimps closed. When you do that, what happens is it's kind of like if you close your hands over somebody else's arm like this. And it will hold for a while. You'll be able to hold them for a while. However, generally speaking, their arm will twist out. However, if you grab their arm like this, then you're more likely to hold on tighter and for longer. So when we use the crimping pliers, it's kind of like grappling the arm so that we hold on tighter. And this is the same technology that they use for I was going to say cup links, but that's maybe not the right word. But it's basically the step that they use for suspension bridges so that they can close it up. Anyways, it's a C word, but I can't remember. All right. So one of the things I'm going to do now is I've got this strung up and I don't want to pull this all tight. I do want them to be all worked down so that Charlie says cookies in the oven and I love to craft whenever you're back. Oh, good. And Cindy said, hi, William. What I do is I take and I gently wrap this around my hand and then I do the closure. And the reason why I do that is so that if you string it up too tight, you'll basically make a bookmark, and it won't flex. And then when you go to flex it, it will snap and all the beads will go everywhere. So what I do is I put a little give and leeway into my work, and I wrap that around my hand before I do the closure. And that will keep the piece nice and supple. Oh, good. Email's back. So we'll do pearls in just a second. We're almost finished with this project. Maybe y'all tired of me, so I'll let William take over.
What?
And then that way, no, they love you. So I've got this. I'm going to give myself a little bit of extra space. And you're going to be like, what the heck is he doing cutting off all that extra? Well, I'm going to show you, and then you're going to know, and then we're going to know together. All right, so I'm stringing on one crimp tube, and then I'm going to string up I think I'm going to put every other one. It's going to be fancy. I'm going to do a fancy one. How about that, y'all? So I'm going to put that little crimp tube, and then I'm going to string up another of the spacers, the metal spacer beads. And then I'm going to string up a little white pearl, and I'm going to just do that until I run out, because I don't want these floating around the universe, because then I want to just use them up, right? I don't need a little container full of them just hanging out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an exaggerated beaded loop, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that in a second, so you're not like, what the heck is he doing? Why is he making that loop so big? I'm going to show you, and all will be revealed. And you too will know what I'm doing, and it will not just be for fancy, but it will have a practical purpose. All right, so I'm stringing, alternating between metal seed beads, size 8 metal seed bead, and these little pearls. Did you see the part where the calipers started going wild? Well, let me tell you, I was like, email's not working, caliper is going crazy. I'm living in the twilight zone, bro. All right, I'm not really. But anyway, so I'm alternating. Marion said that should have been expected, William.
What?
I don't know. Probably that you're going to be on. Take over from me. He was like, bye.
I'm out of here.
No, don't do that. And that's his villain laugh. Did y'all hear that? All right. I'm almost done, y'all. Almost. I know, this is going slow. Molasses. Watching paint dry. Hopefully better than watching paint dry. But I also like to watch paint dry, so what am I talking about? I'm a painter. So I don't know how many beads this is actually, but I'm stringing up a bunch, and I want to string up double than what I want this end result to be. And I'm not going to string all the way up to the end. I'm going to give myself about an inch or so, because one of the things I've noticed, and I've seen this happen, is people will string right up into the very tip, and they don't give themselves enough wire, and then they hate their lives, because then they have to work this back in, and then they're trying to work with the pliers and be praying and all kinds of stuff. But if you give yourself enough room, then you're not going to have that issue. So I'm going to string up one more bead, and then I'm going to go back up through that crimp tube, y'all. All right. So let me put this back up through that crimp tube. All right. So then I'm going to pull that taut. I made somebody spit up their drink the other day at Aramont. There's this theme park that's next door called Anacasta, and it's pretty neat. We went up. You get to go and ride up to the top of the mountain when there's with your badge if you take a class at Aramont. So I could have made this even longer, but I'm going to leave it like that. And I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to make sure that this isn't crossed over. And I'm going to take my crimping pliers using the notch closest to my hand. I closed up the taco. I turned the taco on the side. Using the notch closest to the tip, I'm going to close that up and firmly do that. And it's nice and easy peasy. No problems. I'm going to take my cutters and cut nice and close to the tip. And then I like to do a thing where I run it through my hands, and that helps. In my mind, it helps it lay better. And I think it gives it that good energy, right? It gets everything kind of settled and makes it feel comfortable. So I've got this over-exaggerated loop, and if you want to, you can put a crimp cover. I do like the way that gives a little bit of a finishing look, but it's up to you. And then you just close it up like this, and you can have it so that it lays kind of like this. But the cool thing is that you can also have this kind of like hung in the front. This heart will kind of be upside down, but that's fine as well. And I'm going to, but I think that looks so cute off to the side too. So that's kind of neat. But we can also take this head pin, and I'm going to take one of these tiny little pearls. And these pearls are, they're slightly domed. They're flat on one side and slightly domed on the other. I'm going to pass this head pin through the dome side so that the flat side can lay flush to the bottom of this pearl. So it looks like it's got a little nub in. And then I'm going to get my round nose pliers, and I'm going to go and make a wire wrap loop like so. And do you have any jump rings, William?
I think I could find you some. What color?
I'll look. And I'm just going to wrap this around like we did last night in that kind of unexpected project. And then when I get closer to the end, I'm going to cinch it a little bit. Or not cinch it, but gently curve it inward. And that way, when I close up the last of this spiral, it'll tuck in nice and neat. You do have to be careful with these kind of like coated pearls. This pearl is not a real pearl. It's a coated pearl. Otherwise, this would be a very expensive pearl because it's like too perfect and large. But it's plastic, probably plastic, maybe shell pearl. I don't know. I just had it always in my stash. So there's that. And then I'm going to put a jump ring on that, and then you can just add little charms. And then if you want, you can take that jump ring off. Let me show you a way. I need in there. All right, so now that y'all have probably left, I've got two options. If you have these kind of oversized round lobster claws, you can attach that to that and you can clip that on, but that's probably not going to work. And the reason why that's probably not going to work is because the big pearl, these white pearls are probably too big. But for if you did like a seed beaded loop, you could do that and you can clip that on. And it's a nice kind of little thing. You can kind of collect these little charms and make them. I used to have this little dish on the table that I would sometimes sell my work at, and it would have these little charmy things, and people would buy, customers who bought the base necklace would come and buy these little charms. And one lady would come every time she saw me and get one of these, and then by the end of it she had a whole necklace full of charms.
That's nice.
But I'm going to take this, and as we know, when we open and close jump rings, we don't want to pull these apart. We want to pivot the jump ring so that we don't distort the shape and potentially weaken it. So I've got this. I've strung this onto my oversized jump ring. I'm going to put that oversized jump ring on there like so. And then I'm going to close it up by holding one side stationary and then pivoting the jump ring closed like so. I'm going to overextend it like this and then wiggle it until it locks into place and then gently squeeze. And there you go. Here's another one. And we can just load this up with as many as we want. So if we want to make a dozen little pearls, if I have like one biwa pearl, that's awesome. I can put that in there. I can do, you know, it can be Pearlapalooza up in here. And I think that that's a fun way of using pearls. All right, so for this portion of the evening, William's going to take over and he's going to show you some of the pearls for tonight's offerings. Did anybody claim the LP1?
Anything that bounced back, it didn't go through.
Okay.
So everything's starting from scratch right now.
So William is going to tell you all about this, and then you're going to know about life.
Tell them about what? What do you want me to tell them about?
About how if they send anything today, then they should send it again because
didn't go through.
Didn't go through. And then
Just
there's
like
a battery if you need to. And then here's this.
It was LP1. Better show them this again.
You'll like this?
You know, there's a lot of people watching.
You'll like that? Now they drop.
Oh yeah, I sat down. Like they don't like it.
Pearls of Wisdom. Okay. He said, I'll catch that later. Heading out to read. Wow. Here you go.
Hey, everybody. Let's get this show on the road.
We're going to have a do-over.
LP1. You've seen these, I think, already.
Yeah.
If you've been watching it earlier.
Before the sadness.
All right. So these are LP1. Just to show you again, if you already sent an email, it does not count unless you just sent it in the last 20 minutes. So this is LP1. Did you find another caliper?
You can put that back in, that battery back in. I just figured out because I didn't want it blinking at me like that.
Mm. Okay. Zero that. There, let's get some light on here. There we go. So these are about 8.5 millimeter, depending on which way they're turned, to about 10 millimeter. As you can see, they're a little bit wider this way or this way than the other way. Look at how beautiful those are. LP1. Beautiful colors in those. 2 strands available, $25 a strand. Let me get my emails running up here because they're not running on my computer yet. Need to re-sign in. All right. There we go. Somebody already knew they wanted LP2, so we got an email for that one. So email is working again. Whew, that was something else.
Yeah.
The email.
Yeah, bro.
Thought we lost it for good. It was like all that email history that we've had for 12 years of the company gone. Luckily, it was not. So LP2, this was LP2. It's already sold. Just to show you. Remember, if you want to claim any of these, you all know how to do it, right? What the heck just happened to this now?
What is it?
Our banners are in a folder now? Oh my goodness. Okay. So that's LP2, but that's sold. There was only one of those. Sold. Thank you so much. See, they went down to 12 people only watching now. They don't like me as much. LP3, everybody. LP3. $26. One strand of this available. It's similar to LP2, but it's in this beautiful kind of champagne color. I don't know. Do these pearls have a special name? Did you already tell them? With these little bumpy bits?
No, but they're more rare.
Yeah, these are pretty cool. It's almost like a faceting kind of on them. But reversed.
I love those pearls.
LP3, this is a 16-inch strand. These are approximately 8 millimeters.
It's similar to the one before, but it's not as
So here's the difference. This one before was kind of the more white gray color. These have more of the champagne color.
And they're more bumpy.
More bumpy. LP3, $26. And LP3 has sold. Thank you so much.
And if you looked at pearl prices lately, y'all getting a steal.
I bet those of you who are grabbing this know you're getting a steal, right?
Correct. I hope you know it.
Because we're giving you the good deals tonight.
And you can save an extra 10% if you claim tonight.
Oh, can you?
Correct.
Let me put that banner up. I didn't know we were doing that.
Correct, you are.
Okay, so you get an extra 10% off tonight, y'all. See, I didn't know. LP4, these are faceted pearls.
So these are the gold ones.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the ones we used in the project tonight. What?
What?
Corresponding project?
What? Did you want to make something like this? Look, those are the same pearls.
You can make it yourself.
Look at those. So LP4, $20 per strand. 2 strands available. Gorgeous faceting. These are bigger facets than some of the other pearls we've had. A lot of our faceted pearls have sort of the smaller facets. These have larger ones, and these are really cool because it's kind of easier to see the facet and what's going on. And you get that beautiful color flash from them. These pearls are around 6.8 millimeters. LP4, 2 strands available, $20 each, before your 10% extra discount. All right.
Please buy stuff.
Andrew's begging you all out there.
Because I got to pay my class fee for the one class. And it's a little bit more.
I didn't know that.
It's $145.
Oh my goodness. You better sell some pearls tonight. You're supposed to be over here making these sales.
I'm encouraging, I'm sending good energy.
$18 LP5 for these beautiful little pearls. Beautiful color. Look at those rainbows in there. There's only one strand of these available. Look how smooth those are. So smooth. They don't got a lot of the rings. They've got a little bit on there, but look how smooth most of these really are. And of course, 16-inch strands and about 6.5 millimeters. LP5. LP6. There's a strand with a darker color, these little smooth little pearls. Kind of a butterscotch color. These are really pretty. LP6, $22 for the strand. One strand available. It's about 6.5 millimeters as well. Michelle says, sell that necklace you just made. Generally, we don't do very well selling our jewelry to y'all because y'all make stuff.
If y'all want to buy it, let me know. $100.
$100. Anybody want Andrew's necklace?
$145.
$145 if you want his necklace. It can be yours. Oh, he's giving you a deal on these ones. These are tiny little pearls. Look at these. Tiny little pearls. $8 for the strand. One strand available in this beautiful kind of berry color. Just about 3.5 millimeter to 4 millimeter pearls. They come in about 3.7, 3.5. One strand only available. LP7. $8 only for the strand before your 10% extra discount. LP8. LP8 coming up. We have 6 of these strands available. $16 a strand. Show you all 6 strands. Aren't those a beautiful color? You don't see that color very often. It's kind of like a burgundy, kind of golden color. Really, really pretty. LP8, $16 a strand, 6 strands available. LP9, are these beautiful pearls. I like how some of these have this little wavy texture in them. See that? There's generally one flat side on all of these. Beautiful peachy color. Look how pretty that is. LP9, $15 a strand, 5 strands available. LP10.
Is there anybody on Instagram?
Not that I can see.
Are you still out there, Charlie and Cindy?
It doesn't show me a number anymore, so I can't tell. LP10, $14 per strand. 6 strands available. These little ones in this beautiful kind of golden bronzy color. It's like a sunrise color right there, right? So about 5 millimeters. Of course, they are 16-inch strands. These are vintage strands. Can't really see that very well, can you? These are, they go to the 8 twice. So 16-inch strands. LP10, $14 on those. Ooh, what's this strand? LP11. $56 for this strand. This is a big strand.
It's a double, maybe triple string.
This is about a 32-inch strand. And it's got all different kinds of beautiful pearls in there. Look at these. I love these triple pearls it's got on here. Doubles, triples. Look at how cool those are. Look at, there's another. Ooh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like 5 altogether. I've never seen anything like these.
Aren't those cool?
Those are super cool. I've not seen anything like that before. All grouped together like that. That's super cool. I could see a lot, take this apart, make a lot of cute little earrings out of these different shapes and different styles of pearls.
Or just put them in the front of a necklace.
Put them in the front of a necklace, yep. You could make little dangles like we were talking about the other day. Dangle a bunch of them on the front of a necklace. That'd be cool. That's LP11, 32-inch strand of all of these wild pearls. Beautiful color on these too. Like, look at the glow. There's look at that one glowing red, purple. Beautiful coloring on these. These are really high. These are, you know, for being like a misshapen pearl, look at the colors. Like, some people don't like the misshapen things. I think they're really cool. And look at the colors shining through on these. The color is intense. This really should be a lot more expensive because those colors are intense. You can see them from every angle, glowing. If they had faceted these, you'd really see that too. These are high quality, could have been faceted easily. Except their shape makes it harder. LP11, $56. Less 10% tonight, for 24 hours. Our email is back up and running. LP4 just sold, at least one of them. I don't know how many of those we had. We had 2 of those, so one of those is just sold. Thank you so much. Where am I at here? These are all out of order. Let's see here. Charlie says, I see 2 people on Instagram, including me. Okay. So maybe you and Cindy still out there. Ooh, these are nice. These are nice. LP12. These little button pearls. Look at how even and how close each one of these are to one another. They've got that flat bottom on one side and that beautiful dome on the other. Beautiful color. There are 2 of these strands available. LP12, $22 a strand. You can look at these, and even if you know nothing about pearls, you know that $22 a strand is a deal.
Yeah, it is.
For these. I very rarely see strands of pearls this perfectly shaped. Let me show you the other strand.
It's real. It's not glass.
These are not fake. This perfectly shaped. And at $22, less you're saving already, saving $2.20, less than $18, less than, well, 20 bucks, right? Less than 20 bucks. $19.80, something like that.
What is this?
Oatmeal dried fruit cookies are the bomb. I'm about to start working on stuff too. Not in the market for pearls right at the moment, but I love what I see.
Who said that?
Cindy.
And Cindy said, I like it. The loop is good for people with fine motor issues. Yeah.
One of these has sold. Thank you so much. We have 1 of these still available. Andrew just gave that away pretty much. So if you're not claiming those, I don't know. I don't know. Marianne says you could fake being rich with LP12. Yes, you could. Those are some exquisitely cut. Well, not cut. They're not cut. Those are some exquisitely matched pearls on a strand. That is like make that into a pearl necklace, and that's money right there. That looks like. Does that not look like money? If I said that was $100 a strand, you'd believe me, right? I would believe it. If somebody made a necklace out of that and charged $300, I'd be like, that makes sense. Those are nearly perfect pearls to one another. That's a hard thing to get. That was 12. 13. There's 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, right?
I always like the ones that are kind of messed up, though. Not messed up, but that are kind of funky little shape. But that's me.
Lena says, truth. I tried to buy 2 of those pearls from Stuhler. I don't know what that is. And they were $16 to $20 a pair.
Is it Stellar, she said?
Yeah.
That's a wholesale company, too.
$16 to $20 a pair. And Andrew's charging you $22 for the whole strand. There you go.
Donate to the cause.
There you go. So there you know, Lennis just told y'all, we're not making it up. That could easily be. Nope. That, I just told you that could be $100 strand, and that proves it easily. I'm going to start selling them by the pair, Lennis. All right. LP 13 are these little ones. Little ones. Lennis says, and that was 8 years ago. See?
I hope you didn't buy them.
Hope you didn't buy them then. LP 13 are these littles. These are approximately 4.5 millimeters. Cindy said, those are solid pearls. I was tempted, no lie. Yep. It's a good strand. This is LP 13. There are 3 of these little strands available. Beautiful little pearls in this beautiful coppery color. Lennis says they half drill them and glue in sterling or gold posts.
Oh.
Yeah, make little post earrings. LP 14. LP 14 are these. These are a more, here's the other ones. You can see the difference in color. These would be great to mix together. Inexpensive strands, $10, $10. I'm going to mix some of these, use them as spacers. Use them with larger pearls, smaller pearls. Use them with some gemstones. Pearls, these little pearls like this make great spacer beads, and only $10 a strand. Definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. These are, again, about the same size, just about 4.5 millimeters. LP 14. I've sold one of the LP 13s. Thank you so much. LP 15 coming up. I've only got one of these. These are these little pearls, but in kind of the, well, kind of a slight peacock. It's got those beautiful peacock purples and greens and blues, but it's a very light gray pearl. Ooh, those are pretty. One strand of those available. LP 15, $10. These look slightly bigger. They're about 4.5, 4.7. Maybe ever so slightly larger. They're maybe a little bit thicker than the last ones is what it is. But would be good in that series if you're grabbing a couple strands of those to use as spacer beads. Give you a lot of that bling naturally. LP 15, $10. Yeah, so since our email went out earlier, if you send us an email today, we may not have gotten it. It's only been out for today. So I got email this morning at around 9 a.m. So if you sent something since then today, we may not have gotten it. It may have bounced back to you. So go ahead and send it again. All right, LP 16. Look at these. Another very nearly perfect strands. We have 3 strands of these. These are the smaller version of the LP 12s. Look at those. These are a little bit more on the, well, maybe a little bit more on the yellow side. No, not when they're out of the bag. when they're out of the bag. So these are LP16, smaller version of the LP12s. And again, only $10 a strand.
What?
I know. Look how perfect.
I ain't surprised when I'm on the price.
You did price these. Whew, you gave good prices on these. 4.5 millimeters. Beautiful. They would go great with these if you need smaller ones in between. Of course, you can use them with other ones. Great with these. If you're making make little bracelets with them, use multicolor pearls. Just a nice, cute little bracelet. LP16, $10. What are we going to today? We got 30?
Correct.
Got 30. So we're over halfway there, everybody. We're trying to go faster tonight. Sorry, because we're trying to catch up for lost time when the email wasn't working. And I need to eat. Didn't eat today yet. LP17 are these. These are kind of those little button pearls, but in this kind of coppery color. Sandra says, did you get the email to work? I just got back. Yes, our email is working. We're doing the live, everybody. Email is working. Send us those emails if you'd like to claim anything. So far, 2, 3, 1 of number 4, 1 of 12. Actually, both of 12 have now sold. Thank you so much. And 1 of 13 has sold, but the rest are available. This is LP17. Beautiful pearls. And these are, did I give you a size? 4.5 millimeter. We're on a 4.5 millimeter run right now. Showing a bunch of different colors in 4.5 millimeter. $10 each only. So let me show you these. This was 17. This was 13. See a little bit of difference in color there. This is 16. This is 14. This is 15. Look at those beautiful 4.5 millimeter approximate pearls. Wouldn't you just like to have that whole collection? I would. Look at all those. Beautiful together. Think of all the earrings or bracelets, necklaces you can make with those. And then we have 18 here. LP18, which we have 3 strands of. And they're this beautiful kind of champagne color. Marianne says maybe 4 out of 5. Well, you don't like one of them? Well, when don't you like, Marianne? So these should be about 4.5 millimeter. It's a little smaller. These are about 4 millimeter. Yeah, these are about 4 millimeter. $10 a strand. 3 strands available. And they join, get them back in the bag. They join this beautiful group of smaller pearls. We've just shown you all. Let me show you all the colors again together. Look at all those beautiful colors. 4 to 4.5 millimeter pearls. Beautiful strands. $10 only a strand. And you're saving 10% off. So, you know, that's on $10, that's $1 off. So $9 a strand, everybody. $9 a strand only. There you go. All right, move those over here. On to, where am I? What was my last one? I guess I'm on 19. I think I did 18, yeah, 19. Are these. And these are about 21 millimeters. No, that's not right. That's definitely not right. 6 millimeters. 6 millimeter pearls. Look at the color in those. How nice those are. 3 of those strands available. $16 each before your 10% discount. Ooh. Kind of almost, they look almost green. They're kind of, I don't know. But these are they're faceted ones. Maybe it's the facets that are making them look. They're bringing out that color so much. They looked a little minty green to me. Beautiful faceted pearls. These are like those button pearls that have been faceted. They have kind of the flat bottom with the round top. And they're done in facets. Check those out. Only 1 strand of these available. LP20, $18. LP20, $18. Those are really cool. Usually we see the round ones that are faceted, not these little kind of button ones. And LP20 has sold. Thank you so much. LP20 has sold multiple times. Only 1 person can have that one, though. LP21. Look at these. These are like a purpley, pinky pearl. Is that what, mauve? Is that mauve? There are 2 strands of these available. Beautiful color on those. These are approximately 7 millimeters by about 9. 7 by 9 millimeters. If you're just tuning in, we're doing these are pearl strands, vintage pearls. These are 16-inch strands. 16-inch strands. And 1 of LP21 has sold so far. We've got another one available. Let me show you both of them. Super pretty. Both of LP21s have sold. Thank you so much. LP22. These are green. No, are they? Yeah, kind of. They're like a lemon lime. Sometimes they look yellow. Sometimes they look a little more green. These are really interesting. Look at that beautiful, because they have so much yellow flash to them. But I think they're dyed green. These are just really pretty. Wow. I've never seen pearls that color before. Because really, when I hold them down here in my hand, they look like a goldeny yellow. And then when I hold them closer, they look green. What pretty colors. Look at that. Imagine when the actual sun would hit those, let alone these lights we have in here. Imagine when the sun shines on those And those rainbows that you're seeing now really get to come out. Look at those. Whew. Whew. That's LP22. Let me get you a size. I do a size on these. Mood Pearl, says Jermaine, right? These are really interesting. About 10.5 millimeters. I think they're slightly 10 to 10.5. Just look at those. They're slightly graduated a little bit. You can see that. But the Mood Pearls is right. LP22. I've never seen a color of pearl like that ever. We've seen a lot of pearls. I've never seen them this color. That's definitely different and interesting, and I love it because I love green, and it's got that good color to it. It was LP22. LP23 coming up. LP23, $14 a strand. 7 strands available on these. Simple pearl in this beautiful kind of light bronzy color. LP22 has sold. Thank you. I couldn't imagine that one not selling. I was a little flabbergasted that no one grabbed it yet. This is LP23. And let me show you a few more of these strands. They're really pretty too. Great price at only $14 a strand. How pretty those are. They've got some really nice. These all have beautiful nacre to them. You can see those rainbows happening. Sometimes when you get pearls that are dyed, that you don't see that. It overwhelms the pearl itself. These, no matter what color we're showing you, these are very beautiful, and they have the rainbows. Like, you can see these rainbows. Look at them happening in there. Next time when you look at pearls that you see nowadays that are, this kind of price, $14. I want to say cheaper, but it's this kind of price. We're giving you great prices. You will barely see rainbows in them. Not like these. And if you've experienced pearls recently, you know that's true. When they're colored like this, you very rarely see this kind of quality in them. And that goes for most of the pearls tonight. I've seen rainbows in so many of these pearls, with and without the faceting. No matter what color they are, you're getting gorgeous, gorgeous quality. We've sold one of the 23 so far. Thank you so much. LP24. LP24. Again, those rainbows. These are kind of those banded pearls. I love these. These are a little bit, they vary in color on the strand. So you see some that are more of the kind of darker bronzy, some of them more champagne, some tend toward a little bit more gray. There's a nice little mix on these strands. This is the other strand. Very close in size, shape, but the color's all a little bit varied. I love that. I love that. Hopefully you can see that on your end too. Look at all the kind of goodness, all the variations of colors in these, from the bright white to the butterscotch to a slight gray to that kind of coppery color. Beautiful strands. These are approximately 6.7 millimeters by 9. And there are only 2 of these strands available at $18 each. That's a crazy good deal. LP24, only $18 a strand. And you're getting 10% off tonight. These are probably going to go up in price when I put them, if I get to put them in the online store. Whether Andrew takes them back or not, I don't know. But you all always get the best prices during our lives. We give you extra bonus goodness. And then when we put them in the online store, they go up to what would be the normal, or what we would say is a, you know, not a crazy price, and probably not even retail today. But they do go up because it takes more time, it takes more effort to get them online. Boy, look at these little button pearls. These are the side drilled ones instead of those like the center drilled ones we had before. Flat on the bottom, little cute little button, kind of round on the top. And these are approximately 7.5 millimeters by about 6.5, 5, 6.5, depending on the pearl. Some are a little taller than others. But LP25, 1 strand available. Gorgeous, beautiful color on this one too. These are kind of a brown copper. We've had a lot of the kind of peachy pink coppers. This is kind of a brown copper color. LP25. And LP25 has sold. Thank you so much. LP26. Ooh, I saw this one. I've been waiting to get to this one. These are super pretty. 1 strand available. $32 for the strand. This is what I'm talking about. These are, you know, freshwater pearls. They're dyed. They are this burgundy color. But look at, even though they're dyed, you're seeing the rainbows on top of that color. These were allowed to mature. They were allowed to take on that beautiful nacre to give you that beautiful finish. So you're still going to see rainbows. It's like they've been A-B finished by nature, right? That's an A-B finish by nature right there. And look at all of these. It's a beautiful long strand, 16-inch strand. These are, let me try and get an approximation here. Approximately, ooh, they're hard to, it's hard when they're all on the strand together like this. About 12 millimeters. The other ones want to get in the way. There we go. Actually about 13.5 millimeters by 10.5. And this way about 4. LP26. That is a gorgeous strand. That's a luxury looking strand of pearls right there. Like, how much would you pay for a bracelet of pearls like that? More than $32. More than $32 just for a bracelet of that. Let alone if you turn that into a necklace with some gold. Imagine that. And if you didn't grab, let's see, what color would I put with those? Maybe some of these in between. Maybe some of that color in between. Or maybe go lighter. Maybe go real light. But these 4 millimeter pearl strands we've had earlier, use those as spacers in between. Space them out a little bit. Beautiful. LP26, 1 strand only available. That's a beautiful strand. Look at that. Okay. Moving on. We'll see if anybody wants that one, because that's a good one. That's a good one. You get $3.20 off that, brings it less than $30. Ooh-wee. LP 27. 2 strands available. These are kind of like a frosted blue. I don't know if they're really, yeah, there you go. They look a little blue to me. Blue with, again, those beautiful rainbows you're going to see on vintage pearls. Not so much modern pearls at this price point for sure. They're only $10 a strand.
9.
Yeah, 9 tonight, as Andrew said. $9 a strand with that 10% off. Look at those. You making some winter jewelry? Getting ready for the winter season?
No.
Andrew says no.
Not me.
But look.
I can't even, I don't even want to think about it.
Those look, they look more silvery here, says Michelle. They are silvery, but they're a silvery blue. They're a silvery blue. You know how when you look at, if you live somewhere where there's snow and you see the new fallen snow, and sometimes when you look out at it, it looks like it has this blue cast to it. That's what these pearls remind me of. The fallen snow that's freshly fallen, not disturbed, and it's got the blue cast from the blue sky above that casts down on that snow. That's what these pearls remind me of. That's why they remind me of a winter pearl.
The winter pearl.
The winter pearl. Look at that. Beautiful. And they're only $10 a strand. And they are about 5 millimeters, 5 to 5.5 millimeters. What a beautiful color those are. Okay, LP 28. Wow, Andrew found some good colors tonight. Look,
Like that?
I do. Look at this. That's a true, that's like yellow, golden, with a little bit of green. Again, there's that little bit of green. The other one was more green with a little flash of yellow. These are yellow with a little flash of green. Talk about limeade, right? Lemon lime. Lemon lime. Only one of these strands available. $12 for the strand before your discount. Marion says it's brassy. Yes, it is. It's about 5. Well, let me get this calibrated here. About 5 millimeters. You don't want to. You want to make a necklace, but you don't want to use brass in it. That would be a very nice substitute. That would be a nice upgrade. Right there, give you that kind of color. You even got the rainbows that you see in the brass sometimes. My grandmother used to have these brass lamps, and from they were touch lamps, and from touching them, you'd start to get those rainbows in them. That's what that reminds me of. LP 28, $12. And just giving you a deal on these ones too. LP 29. Are these pearls? These are kind of like the wire wrapped version of a pearl, right? They look like they've been wire wrapped naturally. We have 1 strand of these available. $28 a strand. And these are approximately, let's go here. About 8.5 millimeters by, they're pretty long, by about 22 millimeters. That's a 16-inch strand as well. $28 before your 10% discount tonight. LP 29.
I'm gonna see something cool.
Okay.
This is the Olympic time. I thought it'd be good to show you this. It's a little booklet, and this is an antique one, and it has the scenes of Paris.
That's cool. How come I never saw this?
Because I have things that you haven't seen.
I'm the Parisian fan.
Well,
Look at that.
there you go. Isn't that neat?
That is neat.
I have one for New Jersey, but it's not that exciting.
And the last one for tonight, everybody, LP 30. Let me get this situated here. LP 30. These dark, large nuggets. It's a little bit shorter. It's about a 15-inch strand. But look at these dark nuggety goodness pearls. I don't even know what color. That's like a deep, dark, mostly green flash. But look, have you seen pearls dark like that before? Not from us. Not from us, you haven't. Look at how beautiful those are. LP 30. Only one strand available. $30 for the strand. What a deal on those. That's very different. I like those a lot. I could see these with a lot of that bone we've had the last few days. Some of that antler, some of those bone beads. Mix these the dark colors with some of the gray kind of antler or bone beads we've had. That'd be really pretty. Really pretty. All right, y'all. That's it. That's the show for today. I'm not going to flip the camera around because y'all have been here a long time. So we just want to say thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for getting through the tech issues with Andrew and me when I got them fixed here. And if you have any questions, you can now email us again. So hooray. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. And we'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye now.
See ya.